Welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard Sports Talk. We got Smokey Ramirez in the house, and we have a show to talk about today. This was a rough week in football. Major story headline with Andrew Luck surprisingly retiring from the NFL, and we're going into the last week of the preseason too, and the regular season is around the corner. Smokey, how are you doing?
I'm doing better than Colts fans right now.
Oh yeah, sure. Who's doing worse than Colts fans right now?
Oh, I know. You know what, though? I don't really... We'll get into it, but I really don't think it's as bad as the Colts fans are probably thinking it is right now.
For the team?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, this is probably about the worst thing that could have happened.
Yeah, well, we'll get into it, man. We got bold predictions coming up, so...
Yeah, he's definitely he's definitely the most important player. I'm curious to hear your predictions, but... Yes. Man, that I just told you this before, but the Andrew Luck storyline, it came in, I was on vacation, I was not minding any evil thoughts, and then I flipped on the internet for 3 microseconds, and there we go. Right? Andrew Luck has retired from the NFL, and I'm checking all fantasy leagues right away. Like, I didn't pick him anywhere, did I? Luckily I didn't. And then you hit me like right after with the Lamar Miller thing too, and I was checking again. So that was my weekend.
Yes.
Gone on the
spot.
That
was the first thing I did as well, and I checked even all my best balls, and I was like, no Lamar Miller, no Andrew Luck, I'm good.
All
I'm
good.
doing better than Colts fans.
Yeah, Colts fans are not doing good so far. I know one Colts fan in real life, and condolences definitely, but
oh yeah, it was in the middle of the Florida Miami game.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And I tell you personally, I think Free Felipe Franks probably should have retired about that time also, but he's going to continue the season apparently.
Yeah. So what do we think about this situation? It was crazy. I got home obviously a day later, watched the press conference, read up all the stuff. Very surprised. I think no one was expecting any sort of situation like this. I think this completely rearranges the entire AFC.
Yeah, there's no way anyone was expecting this. I thought it was fake news when I first saw it. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
There is no way. Yeah, I thought people were just trolling, but
it happened.
Wow.
So where does this go from now? Let's maybe talk about Andrew Luck himself first. He's kind of the central person, obviously. I can understand where he's coming from in general. I think for him personally, listen, Andrew Luck is a smart man. He graduated from Stanford. He knows what's best for him. And he's the one who knows his body best. And he says, I can't move anything. I got, my shoulder is broke, my ankle is broke, my calf is broke, and the one thing that isn't broke is my head, and I want to keep it that way. I understand that he's gonna be okay. He's made a bunch of money. He's got a good degree. He's gonna be good in life. But it must be a tough decision because, man, you are the best quarterback to enter the NFL in the 21st century, which arguably he is. And people, you walk in as Andrew Luck from Stanford to the NFL, people are holding your gold jacket ready on that day because you were supposed to be that good. And now 7 years later, you've kind of played 3 full seasons and a half, and you have to retire because of injury. That's tough.
And that throws the gold jacket out the window.
Throws the gold jacket out. That's what was my first thought. That's it. That's the Hall of Fame for him, and what he should have easily been in, and now he's very likely not going to.
Now, me personally, I believe that the Colts staff somehow played into this more than injuries. What do you think?
What do you mean?
I think there was some pressure. You know how we kept seeing Frank Reich coming out, we're going to name a starting quarterback this week, and Andrew was he set out an entire season, for however many months it was from the time he actually went out till he came back, with the same injury that Cam Newton has already been playing from a few months later.
Well, from the organizational point of view, I can see how 70% of Andrew Luck is still better than 100% of whatever else you have. But a player can't do that long term, and it's understandable that he grew to hate his job. He grew to hate what he's doing because he's playing injured. He said in the press conference he's going through a constant rehab. Basically, if he's not playing, he's rehabbing, and it's a 24-hour occupation. And it's not fun. It's for sure it's not fun because it's hard, and you can't do it. And if you're sick, if you're absolutely sick of it, it's the correct choice to retire.
Now, it's understandable behind the offensive line that he had to play behind for the majority of his career. You know, he had that lacerated kidney from a big hit that he had no coverage on. You know, but I think this is purely speculation. I think there's something more than injuries here. I really do. I think maybe, just maybe, he was falling out with the coaching staff.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was. I think not so much Frank Reich, but ownership and general manager been very suspicious to me for the Colts in general ever since that reign. And I think Andrew Luck, I mean, he entered a very bad situation, and the situation did not improve. People like they didn't plan around him, didn't give him the help that he needed, especially up front. And that's a waste, in my opinion. This situation is even worse than the Aaron Rodgers situation, and to a degree, we've seen it in a less extreme way with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, it being essentially a wasted talent.
Yeah,
and I mean he's won a Super Bowl. He's been playing for over 10 years, and he's great. He's a Hall of Famer, obviously, one of the best of all time. But still, for the talent that he has, nowhere near what he should have been because he's been let down by the organization around him. And for Andrew Luck, similar situation, and that is something that I sometimes fear for new quarterbacks coming into the league. That is something that I feared for Sam Darnold the day he was drafted. But I think the Jets are doing fine now. That's a way to really waste your guy, and we've seen teams do this before.
Yeah, and you know, I think he went all off season and didn't mention this, hasn't even hinted at it.
No,
with his injuries being what they are, it's still he waited till the third preseason game to actually come out and announce this. It just. Yeah, it seems
very poorly timed. Yeah, reportedly, behind closed doors, there was a rumor for several weeks beforehand that he was contemplating retirement, but there was nothing coming out. Like no one would have expected it at all, and all of a sudden,
it's easy to say that after the fact,
Yeah. It's crazy. So what do you think? How about the Colts situation concretely? Because as bad as it is, the Colts have to think about right now, right here. So because the season's around the corner, right? We're playing next week. So what do you do? Jacoby Brissett seems to be the obvious answer. I don't think. I mean, he's the obvious favorite to be starting, and barring any crazy trading action, that is going to be the case on week 1.
Yes, and I believe it will. And they're actually consulting with your team, the 49ers, for backup quarterbacks.
Yes,
am I correct?
Yeah, that was my first idea. Do you trade for someone else's backup who might be starter quality, like Nick Mullins is the obvious name?
Yeah, or a Mullins. Yeah.
I think Mullins would be the obvious name. Now the question is, in that case, how is it done logistically? Are you going to pay him that much? He's played half a season. He's looked really good, and Jimmy Garoppolo is injury prone. He might get hurt. So maybe the 49ers want to keep Mullins. Mm-hmm. And what's the price tag? See that. What's the price tag? What do you send for? Because even a starter quality quarterback, who's a backup now, that's a steep price tag if you're in need of it.
Well, as far as Jacoby Brissett goes, I don't think he's going to be as bad as people saw 2 seasons ago. I think he is probably improved. He was coming out of that Belichick system.
Yeah.
And people expected him to do even better than what he did. But the offensive line there in Indianapolis is so much better than it was 2 seasons ago.
Oh, yeah.
They have improved. And I could really see Brissett actually performing at a decent level. Now I'm not predicting he's going to go, into the top 10 this season. But I could see him holding this team together in some way, shape, or form.
I think so. I think this is going to be the situation of you lose 4 to 5 wins due to this situation, which is critical because the Colts were a playoff team. The Colts were a contender last year and even more so this year because they have improved. And this takes everything out. This instantly catapults them from 11-5 to 8-8 at best, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's tough.
I still think they may get 9 wins myself. But...
You think so? No, they're not. They don't have a winning record. Not without Andrew Luck.
You don't think?
No, that's a bet.
Well,
that is a bet. 1-1 Colts before we even get the bold prediction.
Yeah, well,
let's do the over under for 8-8 again.
Okay, let's do that.
If it's 8-8 exactly, we call it truce. If it's I take the under, you take the over.
Yes.
And we still got to figure out what all our bets are gonna be for. But that's a good one. I'm gonna write that down, and I think I'm feeling confident in this one because Brissett is not Andrew Luck, and Andrew Luck is he was a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. Very simple. But team loses a top 3 quarterback.
He's not Andrew Luck, but I had the Colts projected to go all the way to the championships this year. So
now they're not going to the playoffs.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. Now I'm not going to go out on a limb and say they're definitely in the playoffs.
I don't think.
But I will say they go over 500.
I don't think they are. I think the Titans might not go to the playoffs actually over the Colts.
Really?
Yeah, I'll take Tennessee.
The Titans.
Yeah. Over the Colts.
You got that much faith in Mariota?
No, I just don't have any faith in the out of luck Colts, so to speak.
I mean that whole division is starting to look like it did a few years ago when no one wanted to win that division.
Yeah, exactly.
So
no, the Colts are in
with
shambles
that being said, in any other division, almost any other division, I would say it's a shoe-in that they're definitely not going to the playoffs. But that may be a 9-win team going to the playoffs division this year. Maybe.
We'll see, but I don't think it's going to be Indianapolis. They were clearly set up for it, and now I don't see it. I think, frankly, I think Houston's just flat out better, and I think Tennessee's they overtake them.
See, I can see the Jags over Tennessee this season.
Yeah, I mean, someone who has to step up is Marlon Mack. Like Marlon Mack is going to have to really step up. Potential breakout player.
Well, I see Marlon Mack actually staying on course this season because, of course, he's not going to have luck there. But Brissett is kind of mobile. He can move in there, and that always helps a up the middle running back. Being what it is, helps the passing running backs had that. So, I can see Marlon Mack still being the dominant player on this team. I don't know. T.Y. Hilton probably takes a big hit.
Oh yeah, for sure. So you think Marlon Mack's fantasy stock does not change much?
Not much. You may want to drop it a hair, but
I would imagine it to go up a little bit, actually.
Well, if they're going to just pepper him with work, you're definitely wanting to plug him in.
Well, because you just went from a pass football team to a run football team, just like that.
Yeah, they did. But I also see a lot of RPOs coming up for them this season.
Yeah, a lot of work still to do, but Marlon Mack is a constant that they're going to be relying on. So I like his fantasy stock actually.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard analysts say that. Just stay away from the entire team now. Nobody's worth anything without Andrew Luck. But I'll
still take the run game. I'll still take all pro offensive linemen in the run game. Thank you. But T.Y. Hilton and all receiving core obviously is going to drop quite a considerable amount.
Paris Campbell in his first season.
Tough situation. Gonna have to see how that turns out. And I said this before, I think, but this doesn't only throw you back for the season, but for the long-term future, this could set a franchise back 5 years because now you might be flat out rebuilding. Now you went from playoff Super Bowl contender to mediocrity because of one player, and you might be rebuilding because if Jacoby Brissett doesn't ball out. That's the very first stage of rebuilding, your quarterback. And if you got to start there, we draft a quarterback or trade for a quarterback, establish him. That takes 2 years, and then you have to build around that guy, which that might take 4 to 5 years before they are at the same spot that they were.
Oh yeah. Well, here's what I suggest: stand behind Jacoby Brissett. I'm talking to the Colts here. Stand behind Jacoby Brissett for 2 seasons. Pick up Trevor Lawrence, even if you have to tank to get Trevor Lawrence. Get Trevor Lawrence.
They did that exact thing for Andrew Luck at the time.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. What'd they go? 15-1 that season.
Yeah, something.
That would be the route they need to go. I think.
I don't know.
No one wants to hear that their team is tanking. Can
you afford to do that if you're Frank Reich though? Because you came in there, you built your team up, now you're supposed to win. Can you have two horrible seasons now without losing your job?
If you can get Jacoby Brissett to have a winning season, and then you make it known to the ownership, like, we're going to have to tank to get Trevor Lawrence, then I don't see that he's in any danger. Now, if he goes out there with Jacoby Brissett this season and puts up a 4-win season, then he may not make it.
No, I'm not even sure if the Colts are necessarily bad enough to have the first overall pick ever in the upcoming years. But I see them as, I see them in mediocrity. They're going to be like the 20th team sort of thing. They're going to pick 10th overall every year, maybe a bit lower, maybe a bit higher. Not doing too great, and they have to find their guy. And if it's not Brissett, then you're in for a search.
Well, there's always trade-ups also. So
yeah, there is.
I mean, it's very possible they could finish mediocre seasons. Well, which even mediocre seasons are not going to necessarily secure your management position.
No.
With the team, but
not if you're supposed to win.
They can hold it. Yeah, exactly. If they can hold it together, though, I really see Trevor Lawrence's pride. I wouldn't go for Tua this season because I don't think he fits that team as much, but Trevor Lawrence is as close to an Andrew Luck as you can get in the college system right now.
Yeah, so. that is true. Let's get into the second topic, though. We've talked Andrew Luck. Tough situation, obviously, for the Colts to figure out, but we have some bold predictions. We're not doing week 4 today because really week 4 of the preseason is the least important football week of the year. Maybe aside from the Pro Bowl, let's be honest, starters are not going to be playing. For a lot of players in the NFL, this is huge, right? This is the last chance to prove themselves, to have a job next year, of course, but for fans, it's sort of the bye week before the regular season starts. So we're not going to bother with that. We're going to be back fresh next week for week 1 of the regular season, and we're going to count points when we start predicting that. But we have some bold predictions right now. Maybe some of them are going to make it into bets, but I want to hear what you have. Give me your first bold prediction.
My first one involves Mr. Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Mr. Patrick Mahomes will not be QB1 this season. As a matter of fact, Patrick Mahomes will lose at least 15 touchdowns off of his season total.
15.
I'm predicting he goes for 35 touchdowns or under this season.
Which is 35 is a really good number, by the way.
It is, but if you're coming off the 50 TD season, people are expecting that again
every year. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Kansas City in itself isn't exactly the team that it was last year. It's gotten slightly worse on defense and with their weapons too. I have a tough time doubting Patrick Mahomes, man. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't consider it particularly bold if he had between 30 and 40 touchdowns, but I also would consider it very surprising if he had over 45 again.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if that happened.
Well, we'll see. Here's another one for you. You might also like hearing this one. The New England Patriots are going to finish 3-3 within their own division.
Oh wow!
They've shown they have shown they can lose in Miami.
Yeah. Oh, they always drop at least one in Miami.
They always do. Yeah. And Buffalo and the New York Jets seem to be the strongest rivals right now. So you drop one in Miami, as you do, and then you get beat. You just get beat by Josh Allen and by Sam Darnold. Maybe on the road, maybe
one of each.
It's revolution time in the AFC East, and it starts this year. 3-3.
I would rejoice if that happened, to tell you the truth.
It would be very fun. I think this is a very bold prediction, but if it's ever time to make it, it's this season.
So what do you think their final record would be
for the Patriots?
Maybe 5 losses this season.
4 to 5 losses. They're very much usually around the 4 to 5 area. Actually, they are known for dropping a game or two. The Patriots are. Don't get me wrong. They're also known for, while they do that, never really have the playoffs be in a serious danger. Partly due to the division over the last couple of years, but yeah, I think they're gonna drop 3 of them, maybe all of them on the road too, in their own division, which should make the division more fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. We need that, actually.
Mm-hmm. That's my bold prediction. So what do you have?
I could definitely see that happen, so I'm not going to bet against that. And I would love to see
I'm
it,
also
so
not taking a bet for Patrick Mahomes. I think that prediction was not bold enough.
Okay, and your prediction wasn't bold enough either. Just throwing that back at you. All right, try this one then. Juju Smith-Schuster will be the #1 wide receiver in the NFL this season.
I'll put a bet on that. I think if we go 1-to-1 quotas, 1-to-1 odds, I'll put a bet.
That's pretty bold, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no to that.
All right,
we can we'll refine that, but not Juju. He's gonna be top 5 probably, but he's not gonna be #1. I'll take the odds. I'll take the field. I'll take my chances. I know he's gonna be the featured guy, but man, D-Hop, Julio, even Antonio Brown, Odell in Cleveland in that monstrous offense. I'm going to take the field. I'll play the odds, and hopefully I'm going to win something with that one. I'll take that. So how do you like this one, though? Maybe you want to take this one. At this time next year, Tua Tagovailoa is going to be a Cincinnati Bengal.
Woo, that's a tough one there. Cincinnati Bengal. Well, I'll take you up on that one.
Take the bet?
Yeah, Cincinnati versus the field. Yeah. I'll take you up on that.
Taking the field is never wrong, but I have a sneaking suspicion that the Bengals will be the worst team in the NFL this year.
You really think so?
You've seen the division? They never were because they never had the chance to be the worst team because the Browns were terrible.
Because of the Browns, yeah.
And now the Browns are great.
Yeah.
The Bengals aren't winning a game in their division this year. That's 0-6.
And this likely is Andy's last season, so
it's about time.
Yeah, I'll still take you up on that.
I want to see Tua. I really want to see Tua with the Bengals.
I'll take that action because we don't know how Tua's going to perform this season.
Yeah, that's fair. You think he might not be first overall?
I think there's a chance.
You think of Justin Herbert?
I mean, if he played like he did last, I would say a Justin Herbert or a Jake Fromm as much as you have.
Oh no! Come on, no, it has to be Tua, right? I mean,
give me that bet, Jason Easton versus Jake Fromm, man. Give me that bet.
No, not him. But I'll tell you that I think we said this before, but Jake Fromm is not going to be top 2 quarterback.
Yeah,
want to take that one?
3. I'll take.
You know what? We can do 3 actually. We can do 3. I'll think about it, and next week we can do 3.
All right.
How about that? Let's do that. But no, Tua's #1, and Tua is going to Cincinnati. So we're taking that bet. I'm going to write that down, and we'll refine it. You got one more?
Oh yeah, I do. And I have 2 more, and I'm just figuring out if I really want to piss you off with this one or just give you a good one.
Let's see. Let's hear it.
All right. One of them's not bold enough, so I'm going with the one that'll piss you off.
All right.
The Falcons will have a top 10 defense this season.
Why would that piss me off? I don't hate the Falcons.
Yes, you do. Don't lie.
I don't hate the Falcons. I'm realistic.
You hate the Falcons only because I like the Falcons.
I don't hate the Falcons. Yeah. I like to take the contrary point in debates just to see if you know your stuff. But I don't have a grudge with the Falcons. I don't. And top 10 defense seems that seems reasonable enough. It wouldn't surprise me hugely if any given team had a top 10 defense in any.
Well, they were 27th last season.
Yeah,
that's why it's a bold prediction.
I think they've improved though.
They have, and a lot of the starters came back. So
yeah, that's fair enough.
We were without Jones and Keanu Neal last season.
Got some candidates for Comeback Player of the Year there. Mm-hmm. Didn't you even pick Deion Jones for Comeback Player of the Year?
I didn't, but I was about to.
Yeah, you were close to it. You picked Jimmy. You picked Garoppolo, right?
Yes.
And I didn't. Right. I picked Le'Veon Bell, I think. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, so, that was it. I also have one more. And this one is... I'm not sure. I'm having a tough time estimating how bold this one really is. But 4 or more rookies will have double-digit sacks at the end of this season.
Oh, wow.
4 or more rookies. because we're coming off the arguably best pass rushing draft class in recent memory.
Mm-hmm. I could definitely see a Clemson player and an Alabama player in that.
Now, what we're gonna need for sure for Nick Bosa to stay healthy, we're gonna need. I mean, Josh Allen looked like he's been balling out, but he needs to rush the passer more. They've been playing him in coverage a surprising amount, which he's good at, by the way. But he's gonna have to rush more for that to happen. I can see Cleveland Farrell do it.
Yeah, Farrell, Bosa,
maybe even Ed Oliver.
You think?
Maybe
out of Houston, huh?
He's got the. I mean, Quinn Williams
good.
Obviously is also
yeah.
good,
Quinnen was my number one pick, of course, and then Nick Bosa.
They gotta stay healthy, but if they all play, I'll take it. I'll take that one. Maybe you can make up your mind if you want to take that bet. But I actually like that class a lot. Defensive lineman.
All right, state the bet one more time.
The bet one more time is yes.
Yeah.
4 or more rookies will end the season with double-digit sacks.
Okay. Huh. Man, that's some good names, though.
Huh?
Now the fourth one. The fourth, I could definitely see Ed Oliver doing it, though. That's hard. I don't think I can take you up on that one.
And you got a bunch of edge rushers to do it, too. Like, it doesn't even have to be Oliver. You look at the top 5 edge rushers, man. You got Brian Burns, who could totally do it. I mean, it's legit. Yeah. Like, they could all do it. So there's any combination of these guys that could really do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I can take you up on that one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, you got one last one?
Oh, you want the last?
Yeah.
That was 3 for me, but I'll give you another.
Let's do it.
This one actually wasn't that bold. That's why I didn't throw it out. But Chris Godwin will take over as wide receiver 1 for the Bucks this season.
Okay, if you give me concrete stipulations, I'll take the bet. Like, do you mean most receiving yards, most receptions?
For the entire team?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Well, for receivers, I mean, it's going to be him and Mike Evans, really.
Yes, of course.
For all pass catchers.
I don't know that he's I don't know that he's going to have that for the division or anything, but
no, just for the team. Leads the team in whatever metric. You want to take that?
I mean, I think he will be the WR1 given through outplaying Mike Evans or injury.
All right.
I think he will be, and he will lead the team at the end of the season in receptions.
All right, let's try calibrating like a function for receptions, yards, and touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? We'll take the average of those and see if he's the WR1. Write it down. I'm taking that bet at 1-to-1 odds. I like Mike Evans. I like OJ Howard. I think I'll take it.
Oh, I love OJ Howard.
Yeah.
And Mike Evans, I've never been a huge fan, but I don't disrespect Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is a good player. He's really good.
He is. He's a great player.
He's really
good.
But
I just see Chris Godwin is a generational talent.
Yeah, see, he's good. Well, wasn't Mike Evans when he came out?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Mike Evans at least that when he came out? And I mean, he's translated.
Yeah.
He's top 5 receiver.
Hasn't been bad.
I mean, what else do you want?
With the horrible. Well, you could say the horrible quarterback play, but they do
below average
quarterback
pass
a ton. Yeah, definitely great for fantasy though when he is on.
Well, they hadn't really had a running back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. When are they going to take care of that? Doug Martin's been gone.
Yeah, ever since then.
He had one good season.
Not much since then.
They haven't tried to replace him in the past 2 seasons. He's been gone.
Big struggle is just the balancing of the offense, which they have not done.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, that's the bold predictions. We'll write them down, the ones we take bets on, and at some point, in the scoreboard, I guess we'll reiterate on some of those and publicly state the stakes that we're going for, so that we cannot back down. Obviously, keep close book on all those bets, and I'm looking forward to all these payoffs of things that we haven't decided on yet. But I'm sure I'm winning.
Oh yeah. You think so?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about most of them. Some of them, not so much, but most of them I feel good about. the ones we have fantasy for. So let's close it out. We have one last time, presumably, a fantasy football update because we're really going there. Last week of the preseason rosters are going to be standing very soon, 53-man rosters. What is the news, and how does the Andrew Luck situation work?
Well, I'll tell you this. We'll get to Andrew Luck at the very end. Gordon passes his physical, Josh Gordon. So all signs point toward draft Josh Gordon at this point because he's probably going to be right there in contention with Edelman for top pass catcher for the team. So, Gronk's gone. Definitely get your Josh Gordon back because he's gonna be a go. I feel like
the receiving core is insanely stacked. I think we mentioned it last week. They are so strong.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And no tight end depth. Well, they have depth.
Demaryius Thomas, do it. Demaryius Thomas,
they should. They
just do it. It's perfect. Just do it. I did it in Madden 17. I did it. Vincent Jackson, Demaryius Thomas, Anquan Bolton. Those guys are tight ends.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tight ends.
How'd that work out in Madden?
It worked really well. It worked perfect.
Nice. Starling Shepard, good to go for week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Jerick McKinnon, how you feeling about him these days?
Purgatory is always what I gotta say because I'm not so sure, man. Matt Breida has been balling out in preseason. Tevin Coleman is a receiving threat. Kyle Shanahan likes him. They brought Jet in as the featured back a year ago, and now that backfield has become so crowded and so strong. I don't know. I think he's gonna have his role. But he's not going to be the main guy. There isn't going to be the main guy. I've drafted a surprising amount of 49ers running backs for the insecurity that they provide. I've gotten them at pretty late rounds, but lets me know that a lot of people hold back on that sort of thing because there's 3, even 4 people who can reasonably be the main guy on any given day, which is not something that you want out of a running back. The last thing you want is someone who shares carries and possibly even unpredictably so. I think McKinnon he's a good weapon to that offense. Fantasy wise, he's probably dropping down some boards.
Yeah, well, he just had another setback today. Let me pull up. I mean, it was just reported. When was it? Last night that he is back at practice. So, only a few hours ago. Well, actually, that's the same story. I'm sorry. Let me get back to... There it is. Another setback for McKinnon. 49ers GM John Lynch suggested in a Wednesday radio interview that Jerick McKinnon suffered another setback in his return from last year's torn ACL. It's a bummer, Lynch said. He keeps getting to the final step and then taking a step back. So I predict Jerick McKinnon is going to fade into fantasy irrelevance. If you want another bold prediction. What else we got? Ron Rivera says that Cam Newton has no doubt that he will be ready for week 1. Deshaun Jackson broke his finger and is likely to miss. Oh, actually, it's likely he's actually having it worked on. He's likely to play through the injury, even though he's going to have a brace on his finger.
Broken finger braces for a receiver is tough. Like, impairment on the hands is fine. If you're a lineman, you'll wrap 3 layers of styrofoam around that brick glove, you're good. Receiver,
you have that big mallet.
Yeah, receivers, I don't know.
N'Keal Harry is not moving too well at Patriots practice. And as we discussed earlier, they don't really need him right now at this point. So don't expect him to be extremely fantasy reliable this season. Here's one. Who was it that wrote this? Eric Williams of ESPN wrote, expect Melvin Gordon to be back for week 1.
That sounds very good. That sounds promising. I don't hate that news. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about it. It would be nice to see him back, and I hope he does come back.
That team needs Melvin Gordon.
Yes. I still see him as a high-risk fantasy pick at the moment, though.
I guess the closer we get... Keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry. We also saw reports like this coming out for Le'Veon Bell last season.
Yeah, it was a lot of speculation then. I guess the closer you get to the regular season, the more of a risk-reward situation it's going to be, because he hasn't reported yet, so some people will have dropped him completely off their board. Is they like... He's not ready for the preseason. He's not looking to be good for week 1, and we've seen how that can drag throughout an entire half or even the entire season. I'll stay away from him. But on the other hand, now if you can get him at the value you can, and he actually shows up week 1, you got the steal of the draft.
You do. You sure do. But it can go either way for you, so be cautious when drafting. One more thing before we get to the big story. Amari Cooper looks like he is on schedule to return for week 1. So don't be worried if you've already drafted Amari Cooper. As of right now, it looks promising. Now, for the big thing, if you already drafted Andrew Luck, my condolences. Like, there's not much else I can do for you, because if you're in a 10-team league, a 12-team league, you're in a single QB league, you probably only had Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
And now you're searching and if you're in a deep league, you're in a 12, 14 team league.
You're going to be starting Kirk Cousins, Jameis Winston all year.
You are. And probably worse than Jameis Winston. If you're in a really deep league, you're probably looking at Brissett right now wondering, how much am I going to get out of this guy?
Oh, am I looking at Brissett? I don't know.
Oh, you know what? He was the number 1 pickup on the waiver wires the morning right after the news.
Really?
Yes. Wow. People are buying in. And I kind of buy in. I don't buy in like they're doing, because I did not go pick him up off the waiver wire.
No.
But people are buying in. I think it's a bit of an overreaction.
I think I have a bunch of people I'd take over him, actually. I take Josh Allen, Tom Brady. I'll take over Brissett right now.
Yeah, and Matt Stafford is free in probably 80% of leagues right now. Go get Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Don't pick up Brissett. It's not a good bet.
So we'll see how that whole situation turns out. But thanks for being on the show. Obviously, it was fun, and it's getting there, man. It's close. Couple weeks until actual NFL football. I can't wait. I'm hyped for this. And next week, in the scoreboard, obviously, we are going to start off with regular season predictions for week 1. So
yes,
we better be ready. I'm gonna be ready, and we got competition going because we're counting points. Maybe we can get some of the bets formulated until then and provide a good show. But until then, thank you for watching, everyone. Let us know your opinions in the comments on the Andrew Luck situation. How do you think it's going to affect the AFC? How do you think it's going to go on with the injuries that we've had over this week? And who's your secret pick or your bold prediction for the Super Bowl, for the playoffs? Let us know. If you're watching on the Trash Talkers channel, come on over to Beyond Football. And if you are on my channel, definitely go check out Smokey and his friend Hollywood over at the Trash Talkers. Great channel and very, very entertaining guys. Definitely want to pay a visit. Until then, Smokey, you got anything to add?
That's about it. And once again, I'm sorry, Colts fans.
It's tragic. All right. Thank you for watching, and we're going to see you in the next one.
We will. Peace.